Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with
Mandelsoft from the Promote team from ATS2.
And we are going to review the ATS game, which is made by SES Software. It came out at 3 February 2016 and we are going to sum all the things up which we think that's positive and which we think that negative. We are going to start with the positive things.
The first thing is first is one thing they really nailed is that they got the American atmosphere correctly. They nailed it. It really feels like America and not just like Europe 2.0 with just city names with from America. No, it really feels like something like completely different beast than ETS2. So they did get the American feeling right.
Yeah, the thing I also like are the details. They used a lot of details in the map. One of the details are the rusty looks and the way the gravity. There is even gravity in the map.
Yeah, it looks much more grittier than ETS2. So they have definitely changed their whole mapping and assets creating procedure. This was already visible in the Scandinavia DLC, and it's really fun to see this continue in ATS. And maybe we will see this also in the upcoming France DLC for ETS2.
Yep. Also, what we like are the game mechanics. Like you're going right through red.
Yeah, that you're allowed to turn right when the traffic lights are red. This is common in the USA, but not in Europe. But it's there in the USA, and they have managed to program this in as a mechanic in the game to replicate this, and this is quite nice.
Yes, you even don't get fined when you go through red and you're turning right. So that's one of the things I really like about the game mechanics, but also the police cars on the road. They really fine you if you're driving too fast. But that's still too rusty, because when a police driving at the other side of the road, it still can fine you.
And it can also fine you when you have an upcoming speed limit and you have no time to change to the right speed limit, and the speed limit hits, bam, fine.
That's one of the things that we don't like.
Well, apparently I have heard stories that this also happens in real life, where policemen are waiting behind such a speed limit sign, just behind city limits where it changed to 30, and just find unsuspecting drivers that just try to slow down there, just to get just to rack up their fine quota, because America can be a bit corrupt like that.
Also, one thing that I really like are the Easter eggs. There are a lot of Easter eggs in the game. You have to find them yourself, but we can tell one of them.
Apparently there are some fighter jets in Reno near Area 51. So that's a nice detail to add. I think we did it also in promos with Lynn Shipping, where we put in some Saab fighter jets near the city where they actually produce them.
Yeah. What they also have are the details, again, the falling stars, and it's really majestic actually.
They have also some nice landscape, like nice California fun landscape with different terrain textures, different vegetation, and they really spend a lot of attention to that. And that's one thing I liked from the Scandinavian DLC, but also from ATS, and that is something they are really shining.
Yeah. They also, with the details, the landmarks, they are really beautiful actually. You can drive across the Golden Gate Bridge, you can drive across the bridge at Oakland. There are so many landmarks implemented in the map.
The strip in Las Vegas, just all those neon lights and buildings and famous casinos over there. They just nailed that Las Vegas, and they also nailed San Francisco.
It's really detailed. And talking about San Francisco, the trams, they really ride with you. It's fantastic.
We have just looked into the technical file, just into the file set that for the game mechanics, And the trams are actually traffic. They are actually counting as traffic. Unlike, for instance, the trains, which are just moving objects. But the trams are really part of the traffic and follow their own traffic paths, and that's why they also interact with other traffic. And that's a really nice feature. And I'm hoping that I can port it over in ETS2 in some way.
So we can use them in the Dutch map.
Who knows?
Who knows? In Las Vegas they also have 4-lane roads. It's really beautiful, but technically it's not been optimized the best way.
It's a bit sloppy done with instead of putting the road marks baking it into the road itself with road templates, which I know they can do it. There's some road templates in the game, but only 3. And we have done it for pro mods and we used it extensively, but what they did there is just put a road texture and put some so-called railing objects for the lines, which is actually the workaround way, not the neat solution which I would expect. No.
Also, in Los Angeles, they have done also a thing that we really don't like. So let's go through the things we don't like.
First things first is let's address the elephant in the room. The map scale is really hammering down the experience. It's 1 in 20 was a bit stretchy, but 1 in 34.5? That doesn't make you feel the vastness of America. It feels tiny, and I've already heard that people have a 100% map exploration just after 1 week.
It also feels like a beta edition. You have only 2 trucks, only two states. It feels like it's not done yet. There are some trucks coming into the next versions, like a Kenworth W900 and stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's done. It still has some things that really have to be finished.
Part of it is just to licensing problems or time problems, but make you change the idea that it feels like beta. It's just by what you observe, what you experience.
In Los Angeles there are 6 lanes at each side. 2 3-lane parts that are the main lanes, and 2 3-lane parts that are parallel lanes.
It looks like a very wide interstate where you can drive from, but the problem is you can only use the inner lanes, which kills a bit of the experience. And they have something that looks like a huge ass interchange with lots of ramps coming over and under it, but you can only drive on the standard prefab cloverleaf, and this is also a bit disappointing. In general, they use a lot of the same prefabs over and over and over again, just like they did in ETS2. And though they have the technology to make custom interchanges, they even have some prefabs, although I don't like the looks of them, because they have some kind of design issues that I don't really like, some kind of dimensioning that feels off and un-American, but they have the technology, but they don't use it.
Also the 2-lane illness, the 3-lane illness, they only have 2 and 3 lanes implemented in the map. In a city like Los Angeles you would expect 4, 5 lanes, 6 lanes in the city, but there are only 2, and this really makes me cringe actually. It doesn't feel like Los Angeles.
They could have easily used wider roads, and it is possible with road templates, which they used in the Scandinavia DLC, which they will use in the France DLC, which we used for pro mods more and more to get more country-specific markings, and to get a more technically neat solution for 4 or 5-lane roads, because the old technology could only mark up nicely up to 3-lane roads, and then it just gives up. But ATS doesn't seem to go on the route, and I'm really disappointed about that. And there is another point that is maybe even worse,
yeah.
and those are the at-grade intersections at interstates. Why? Why?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're driving 80 miles per hour and you're like I'm playing a multiplayer. For example, I'm driving 80 miles per hour and another truck comes in at the interstate. Why isn't there just a normal exit? Why does it have to be a crossing? I'm really cringing about that, because every time that someone comes in, actually, it rams you when you're driving at the left lane.
Or even worse, red lights.
Or red lights, and then you're getting fined.
Yeah, it's something I also see in ETS too. If anyone who has played promos, do you remember how Amsterdam and Rotterdam looked at first, or legal, with also those at-grade intersections and motorways where they shouldn't fit? I'm glad that I managed to get those out, but it feels so off.
Then I'm going back also to the Dutch map. In the Dutch map we have a lot of custom interchanges. Also in the new part, the Randstad. With The Hague, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, we used 4 5-lane roads. We used parallel lanes where you can drive on.
Yeah, you can also say the same about promos with the Autobahn rebuilding project, or what we did in Stockholm. Just instead of the escalator, which was 2x2 lanes in the SCS version, we just cramped in 2x4 lanes. So like the real thing, and it is just it's technically perfectly feasible. But SCS doesn't seem to dare to do that.
And also one thing that we don't like are the technical aspects in crossings, like the custom-made diamond interchanges.
Yeah, they have a traffic light pointing to a direction where no traffic is coming from, and where it's even prohibited to drive in that direction. And another thing is, they have these intersections with left turn lanes and traffic lights. These left turn lanes are perfect for having protected left turns, but they don't manage to get the traffic light sequence to work to have separate left turns, and that would be really great if they could implement that. Promos we have already shown this is perfectly possible. We have even made an intersection with a 4-phase setup with protected left turns. This works just perfectly fine. You just need to have a separate sequence program for it and some models, and you have to assign the right traffic lights to the right paths. But it's perfectly feasible, and even Nico is experimenting with it in ATS. But SCS doesn't seem to mind it. It's all just plain old 2-phase traffic lights.
And also the road signage isn't right. I mean,
no.
There are some signs which say exit now. Does that exist in America? I don't think so.
No, I haven't seen it when I was in America once, and the layout is wrong. For instance, they have signs with you have one arrow up, one arrow bending to the right, but usually it's not just those arrows, but usually there are just white arrows with marked in black the lane separator, so you know which lanes goes where. But this detail does not exist on the map, and the general design seems to be also off. For instance, where the root shield is usually placed on the right of the panel, where in real life I've seen them usually on top, in the center, or on the left. So there are quite some design tweaks that can be made.
Also the closed lanes, did they use stickers on them? Why didn't they just put it on the signs but close the road? I mean, in the Dutch map we even made signs that you can actually see the text that's on the sign.
Well, this is general SCS mapping. It used to be red crosses, then it was black backs. Anyway, now it's just stick with closed.
And it's not getting any better, actually.
It's not getting any better. Well, we have used black backs for one thing in promos, and it was in Sunsfall to actually for some nice little detail is that the city road in Sunsfall is actually the old E4 route. So we just marked off the sign with saying E4. And in one case direction to Haparanda, because it was better to go in the other way, but in the past it was better in was better to go through the city instead of by the bridge, which wasn't there.
What is maybe a possible thing about the positive thing about the signage is that they use sign templates, they use it again, and we really like that, because now we can create our own signs again with the better grids that are implemented on the signs.
Yeah, but even then, they don't manage to do it efficiently or get out the potential as we did in Promos or in the Dutch map. One thing they do is that instead of making just a generic interstate shield where you can just write a number in it, they just make a shield for every single road. And that is just plain inefficient. It can make your life much easier just to make one single shield, or maybe just a few with 4 different widths for road numbers and just be done with it. And
also in America, it's like in Germany, they have one shield where it can fit in 1 number, 2 numbers or 3 numbers. It's just so universal, you can just put your numbers in. And
actually the one for 3 digits is a bit wider, but still they could have done that, gone that direction, but they didn't, and that's a bit sad. They also have only one font, just one font. They have used Highway Gothic Series E, but I've also seen Series C and D, which are narrower than the normal Series E.
Also, one thing that we don't like is that there is not used a grid system in roads. I mean, in America, there are a lot of cities, not all cities, but there are a lot of cities who use a grid system in roads. And for example, in Las Vegas and in Los Angeles, there are roads making turns. There are officially roads making turns, but not every road is making turns. And
for instance, in Reno, did it quite good. So,
and also in San Francisco, they use the grid system.
In San Francisco is one they actually nailed, but Los Angeles, no.
No, Los Angeles. We think that Los Angeles is one of the worst cities that is made in American Truck Simulator. Los Angeles still looks good though, but it's not like we expected it.
It's like if you compare it to what they have on the rest of the map, it falls short compared to the rest. It's just that you compare something good versus better. So people are wondering what are modders going to do about it. Because we've already noticed the big modding scene for ETS2, and well, since you are already talking to someone from one of the big modding teams, Promods, and don't forget that this game has only come out like 1 week and a half. So not even 1 week and a half, just 1 week. So there aren't really much development on mods yet, because there's just simply not enough exposure. But this is actually the stage where most modding teams, if they are existing, are making plans. And we have some plans, but nothing is set in stone, and plans are still highly subject to change. But one of the general ideas is to do something about one of the main complaints of the game. The scale. We are trying to get the scale from 1 in 30 to 4.5 to 1 in 20 like ETS. So you get greater distances and it feels larger and it gives us more breathing room to rebuild things. So there are quite some advantages to that, but it will be a lot of work. Another thing is that with the game still in development, with map DLCs like Arizona and probably also in the future New Mexico, Idaho, Oregon, that there is a high risk that your work is being overwritten when SES is expanding their map and that your work is for nothing. So expanding is now not really a good option. Another thing is that what we could do is just disregard the entire standard map and just start with a standalone map in another region of America. And these two mapping IDs with rescaling and the standalone map don't really have to interfere with each other. They can coexist right next to each other. One of our ideas is that we may want to look at another area in America, and our eye is set up on the Great Lakes area. So the area around Toronto, Chicago, Detroit, that sort of stuff. There is some really impressive infrastructure there, and a really different landscape to what is there in the rest of America. And it's also close to the East Coast, where you have really prolific cities like Boston, New York, Washington DC, Philadelphia. So, but we can start with just in Toronto or Chicago. And with Toronto, we also already capture a thing of part of Canada. But as I already said, this is all just planning, and this is just all very subject to change. And it also really depends on how much manpower we can get on this map. And we are still looking for recruiting new members. So if you are willing to learn something about the map editor or asset creation, whatever, we are still open. We are still hiring people, and we would like to see some people from America working on this.
There is also some progress on the Dutch map. We are going to expand, but it's taking a lot of time. Everyone is still asking us, when is this map coming out? When is this coming out?
It's so recognizable. It's so familiar.
The thing that we negotiated with each other is that we are going to bring a release that is version 1.2. This is going to include a rebuild of Nijmegen and some new cities, Tilburg, Geldermalsen and Alkmaar. But the connection between Alkmaar and Eindhoven is not fully done. So you have to drive from Alkmaar first to Heerenveen, and then you can go down under. I can understand that it's a very disappointing thing that Amsterdam and all those areas are not done, but it's just a lot of work. And I hope you guys will accept that it's a lot of work and that we just have to take longer than we expected. With that, I want to tell all the progress that we have made on the Dutch map. There is a spreadsheet right now on the screen of which cities we made, which cities we are planning to make, and which rebuilds we are planning to make. One of the main rebuilds I am planning to make are Arnhem, Venlo and Heerlen. And Eindhoven. Eindhoven doesn't feel like Eindhoven yet. Eindhoven doesn't have the parallel lanes it has, Eindhoven doesn't have the interchanges it has, and we all have to fix that. But that's just going to take some time, and I think when it's done, we're in 2017, maybe. So it's going to take some time. But yeah, that's an update about the Dutch map. Do you have any updates about Promods?
We are still waiting for distribution for 2.01, but yeah, our site host is Skull is now in the Netherlands, so away from his computer where he can arrange the whole distribution side of things. So we have a bit of distribution problems, but after that we can focus our development on version 2.1. There's still a lot of progress, but it will still take months to finish up quite some work. Quite some projects have restarted. Italy has been restarted, and the Benelux rebuild has been restarted. And let's see, another part of Germany is being worked on around Leipzig, and we are still heading further north in Sweden, and some rebuilds in Finland,
which are made by me.
Yeah, but also I'm rebuilding Jyväskylä now.
Yes, and I'm also doing some work on interchanges. My main priority is still the Dutch map, but when I don't have inspiration or something, then I work on Promods, and then I'm working on the interchanges. I'm not an official developer yet, but maybe it's
this is just a try-out project.
Yeah.
But So one of the priorities there in that region is also to prepare the coasted Finland, Vasa and Kokkola, and to make a ferry link to Umeå. And maybe get an E4 all the way around the Baltic Sea, so you have a route from Sundsvall all the way up to Haparanda. And for all the things, we are still expanding Spain. Barcelona, still a lot of things to do there. France, not much expansion right now, but we have reached Perpignan, so that's the border crossing closest to Barcelona, also at the coast of the Mediterranean. But the wall merge of the France DLC is a bit uncertain, and we may get more details in about a month or something.
And then you guys will know if you can go on with France or not.
Or what we can expect from the DLC. Furthermore, some projects that have been restarted or sometimes don't really go that quickly. For instance, the Czech rebuilding project and the Benelux rebuilding project are going a bit slow. So this may take a bit longer than you may expect. And also, Spain is getting a bit slow because it's getting really complex. The guy who was building area around Bilbao, Ivan, he is really good at building really complex maps and just optimize the shit out of them.
So they are very detailed and drivable without lag.
Without much lag, because he's really good with placing cut planes and such other optimization things. So I'm quite curious when that is finished. We already have the part of Donostia, but I'm curious how the other finished areas will look once they are done.
Well guys, this was a review about the American Truck Simulator and the progress around Pro Mods and the Dutch map. I hope you guys liked it. I will put the links to Pro Mods and the Dutch map and a little information about American Truck Simulator. I will put them in the description. Like, subscribe, I will put Mandelsoft channel in the description. And I will say see you in the next video.
Right, bye.
Goodbye.